Good morning everyone, we are on the move again. So like I said, we wouldn't have minded trying to find somewhere to have a couple of days in. The only problem being is that the nearest cache point is 20 kilometres in the direction of where we're heading. So if we were to have another night, we'd have to go to the cache point, which is 20 kilometres that way, 20 kilometres back, and 20 kilometres back the way. And that's like, was it 36 miles, which seems a bit OTT for me. So we're going to move on, stop in Imourane on the way through to find a cache point and do a quick bit of a supermarket run. And then we are going to drive to Tingier. So we've changed the route slightly. So we're pretty much 6 hours drive now away from the end point in Mazuga. So we're going to drive half of that now and aim for Tingier. Then we're only 3 hours away from Mazuga. So it just means if we find somewhere that we like, we can sit there for 2 or 3 days. Or if we find somewhere that we don't like, then we're only one more evening away from being able to drive all the way to Mazuga. So I'm going to show you around the park up now. That's the motorhome. They're looking very nice. And then not a great floor for the motorhome, but once again, views wise is very, very nice. I'll just show you over this wall. Mountains, 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 mountains. So 8 Ben Haddou is that way and Imourane is that way, and that's the way that we're heading. But it's just all these mountains that you can see on the horizon. Yesterday was just absolutely epic, and probably one of my favourite days that I've ever had driving and travelling. It was just, the scenery was just like out of this world. So I'll show you now the swimming pool that's on the campsite, and then we'll show you the facilities, and then we're going to get off and hopefully have another great drive just over the side wall. That was that little town that we drove through. So what you have got here is you've got a little petanque place where you can play your bowls. Here's a swimming pool area. So swimming pool, a little bit of a chill out space there. You've got a little bit of a kids park there, and just over there where the reception is where there's a restaurant. So good things about this place is it's got a bar. So when we first got here yesterday, we had some flag special out of a bottle, which was very, very nice. And we came down for tea as well in the end, and I had a kefta tagine, and the food was really high quality as well, which is always nice, especially if you've been driving quite a bit in a day like we do, or we did. And I'll show you the inside of the facilities now. Dishwashing, nice clean toilets, and they smell nice when you walk in. Sometimes you can walk into toilets and they smell as soon as you walk in, whereas this one's really nice. So we packed up, paid, and set off on our way to Imourane. Like I said, we had some errands to run, so we wanted to go to the supermarket and draw some cash out, which was the reason why we were leaving the previous campsite. And we had the joys of trying to navigate through some very, very narrow Moroccan streets. After navigating our way through the tightest gap in the world, we've come to stop off at the Carrefour just to get a few bits. We're not sure what the shop situation is going to be like by the time we get into the desert. So we've made it to a Carrefour market in Ouarzazate. A couple of things that we absolutely love in these Moroccan Carrefours, or I'm not sure if they do them in France or not, but Dauphinoise potatoes in a can, they're amazing. And also something that we've really struggled to find since we've been back is gnocchi. We absolutely love gnocchi. A whole row dedicated to tinned tuna. It's been a bit of a stop-start journey so far. So we drove 20 minutes to Ouarzazate to the cash point. Then we decided to go to the Carrefour, and then we're both hungry, so we've been pulled over at one of these places. So we're going to stay and eat at somewhere called Cafe or Snack Abdou. He's waiting for us. This will be good. So we've just made it to the Todra Gorge now, after we'd set off from Ouarzazate. So I thought I would probably use this opportunity just to sort of take you through the rough costs of the campsites that we've stayed at. So if we start off right back at the very beginning with Camping Atlantic Parc, so that's got a sliding scale for how much a campsite would cost. So I think because we'd been there for over 90 days, our rate was 140 dirham, which works out at about £11.20 a night. So we then went off to Guyot Forest Casbah. So Guyot Forest Casbah, that was 100 dirham per night, including electricity. Next was on to Taroudant and Le Grand Camping Taroudant. So that was 80 dirham per night, including electricity. From there we went to Talouine, and Talouine was 90 dirham per night. So the way in which I use the exchange is for every 100 dirham works out at about £8, give or take a little bit. So all these are sort of roughly £8–9 per night. Once we then moved into Ouarzazate and Escales, that was 100 dirham for a night, and that was including electricity. The good thing about that campsite is that it sold bottles of Flag Special, and they were 25 dirham per bottle of beer, so that was very good considering at the Hyatt Regency in Agadir, or on the way to Tagazout, we were paying 70 dirham for a 33 centilitre bottle of Flag Special. Now, in the Todra Gorge, this is one of the more expensive ones, and this campsite works out to be 135 dirham per night. So this is almost expensive here as the campsite was in Camping Atlantic Parc. So in terms of diesel, so we put a full tank, or we made sure that we had a full tank when we'd set off from Camping Atlantic Parc. The diesel is around about £1 per litre. So we topped it up again in Ouarzazate. So we just wanted to make sure that we've always got a full tank of diesel. So I think we spent an extra £25–30 on the diesel in Ouarzazate. So in terms of sort of general cost of road trips, obviously it's not particularly expensive. You know, we spent a lot of money on food before we'd set off. We'd also spent quite a bit of money in the Carrefour in Ouarzazate as well. But, you know, these are things which you can do for relatively cheap whilst you're out in Morocco. You can really spend as much or as little as you want to. Obviously, you can make it as cheap as you like, really. So, you know, a lot of people, and there's plenty of spots that we've seen on the way where you could wild camp. But, you know, it's just not one of those things which at this moment in time, with the beef being the age that he is, that's ever really sort of fascinated me doing it multiple times. Every now and then's all right, but doing it consistently, you know, I enjoy my air conditioning too much. There's a stink bug in the motorhome, which I've just seen. That's why I'm a bit distracted. Horrible, 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 horrible.